So I have a question. Brewing Classic Styles, and we're talking about New England and whatnot. Would you ever consider doing brewing? I don't know what you call it. New
classic styles.
Neo styles.
Do you have a book coming? New book?
Oh, I want to do the follow-up to this desperately, and
So
I have a lot to add.
What would that be? Like a new classic, or would it be like new styles, or what would you put in it?
I don't know, brewing every style. I think one of the difficulties I had with this book was they really didn't want it this long. They wanted like 2/3 this length.
Oh, a pocketbook or?
How many recipes did they want?
They wanted they wanted one for every BGCP style, but they wanted the descriptions to be much shorter. They wanted just like the style name and the recipe. They just want a recipe book. I'm like, that's not useful. People need at least a little nugget of information as to why they're doing what they're doing. Otherwise, just search the internet for recipes and who knows what. And I think that's one of the values that I brought to that was, giving a little nugget of what I learned in trying to produce an award-winning version of each one of those. I tried to communicate that and a little bit of personality and story in there. And what I would do in a new version is, I don't know if you've read any of my Brew Your Own articles, which is, thousands of words for each style, and it really goes into detail as to what ingredients you need, why you're choosing those ingredients, alternatives, how you might adjust the recipe, and kind of understanding the flavor profile of the style and the history, and then here's multiple recipes. I'd like to write a book with that kind of detail for every style. And then I think it's a true education about, brewing and brewing these styles. And I'd also like to add in all the new stuff that's come up and all the things that I've learned. I think I did that in 2005, 2006.
I'm going to fact check you now.
Keep going. I'm not going to stop you.
Fake news.
I don't know how many printings has gone through.
I don't know. This says 2007.
So
copyright 2007.
So you probably finished writing it in 2006, right?
Around there, yeah.
Right. So, it's 12 years now. I've learned things, as a brewer.
And everything's changed since then.
You're constantly learning new things. Almost every batch you brew, maybe on the tiniest level, you learn something new.
Yeah.
And all those things stack up. And over time, you become a different brewer than you were, 10, 12 years ago.
Right.
Are you brewing exactly the same way you were 10
Absolutely
or 12 years
not.
ago? Right. You've changed. Your thinking's changed. Your ingredients have changed. And, what you're trying to achieve still remains the same, but...
there's 200 hop varieties. No, exaggerating, but there's 200 hop varieties.
There's 200 hop varieties now.
Rather than 12 years ago.
Yeah. And so I'd like to bring some of that into it too. So I'd definitely like to redo the book.
I think brewing is like making love.
Clearly,
obviously,
he's never done either well.
The Hungarian sausage.
The difference is when you start a brewing job, there's someone to train you.
You do have that. You have the trainer. So you need to write the sex book also. Because think about the sex you had in high school. What did you do the first time, okay? And what do you do now? How much suaver, how much more in control of the situation are you now than you were in high school? And so it really is the same thing. And you guys now are like the suave lover. This is Don Juan and his protege, Don Juanito.
I think I've gone much farther in brewing than I have in sex. I'm just. let me admit to that now.
This I don't know about.
Let me go find your wife really quick. I'll be back.
It's still pitch after pitch after pitch.
Okay, all right. I've got endless pitches in me. There's a little bit of love in every batch.
Fellas, it's been genuinely a pleasure. I have to get back to work. Cheers. Cheers. The fest doesn't have enough time left. Bye, y'all.
So what were we saying? about homebrewers growing, decreasing? You asked a question about like home brewing and
I think homebrewing is still increasing. I don't think it's increasing at the rate that it was before.
do you think home brewers technique is growing though?
Yes, I think the average level of a home brewer who's starting out now is worlds more than it was when I started.
Right.
When I started, people just brewed whatever crap and based off of a little internet chatter and
It's so accessible now too, isn't it?
yeah, and the ingredients have grown and the information has grown. I meet people that say, "Here, taste my beer." I'm like, "Wow, that's really good." They're like, "My first batch." I'm like, "You are
Really?
kidding me." They're like, "Oh, I studied for like 6 months. I listened to shows. I read books."
Whoa.
It's like, they made sure they had it right and just amazing.
And also the accessibility of ingredients is so
Yeah.
much better
Yeah.
now, right? You talk to guys who are homebrewing during the 90s and they're like, well, I used to be able to buy Cascade in
The big brown pack.
the big brown paper pack that was like half brown and
Right, sitting
aged.
on the store shelf.
Yeah.
Warm. Yeah.
It was my experience homebrewing in the UK as well. Like the homebrewing shop in Brighton that I used to go to, they were shut half the time, and then the other half of the time I'd go in there and just buying dried yeast, and it's out in the windowsill. So that's actually how I started talking with the local brewery, which I ended up working for. It's like, can you guys give me some wet yeast?
All
You know, because I couldn't.
Which brewery was that?
Dark Star.
Dark Star. Yeah. All
They've
right.
just been.